So we've gone a little over our 30-minute discussion time. I'm going to jump into Q&A, and there are some questions. The first question is, it says, high level, can you touch on consolidated reporting, EC and ECP both? And this is a question that's right up SpinFX's alley, and I swear it was not a plant question. So to avoid any conflict of interest in talking about Easy Reporter and the connector to SuccessFactors, to EC rather, Mike, do you want to talk about reporting?
Yeah, so the reporting, to me, there's a little bit of a gap there. You do have the ability to push some of the wage types, some of the payroll related information back to Employee Central. There are some limits though, it's in the SAP documentation. So if you're looking to go, you want access to everything, yeah, you're looking at a SpinFX type tool to be able to do those types of things.
Yeah, and that's, again, this is not a commercial. Easy Reporter was designed to do just what this question is asking. So that's, you know, and certainly it's an enhancement of the existing. It's a good fit. So I'll jump out of the commercial aspect here. Go ahead.
And I'll add to that. I think this is one that, you know, for us, we know that we need to make some enhancements on. And actually, you know, it's something we've been working on. But you know, there's more work, and you know, there's roadmap items to continue to enhance this. But the reality is, your best bet right now really is like SpinFX tools. They do a really good job. As well as some other partners. But yeah, you guys do a really good job of getting that type of data and pulling it together. So we're working on it as well.
Yeah. So next question is, when we process payroll in mobile, and which, I guess they're asking the question to you for Imran, when we process payroll mobile, and in which way? So how is that going to work?
So, you know, this is an interesting question and dynamic. So I talk to a lot of customers, and very few of them have an interest in moving payroll to the mobile standpoint. So if you're using PCC, you can actually use mobile. So you could go to the URL for that and kind of go and click in and do that. I have had a few customers now that kind of are used to doing it that way, and they use their tablet more for it. But in terms of actually running payroll on your phone, that's not something that I've seen a lot of. But with PCC, it is an option. I mean, I don't know, Mike, have you had your customers asking about this? I mean, it's an interesting conversation.
Not so much the customers. Customers I work with, I will use my tablet to run some of the processes. I played around with using it on my phone, but my eyes aren't quite good enough to look that small and constantly expand it out so I can see more. But it is doable.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it works. But yeah, the tablet definitely can be a replacement for a desktop. So if you're on the fly and you want to see where your alerts are, where your validations are, those types of things, you can easily do that with the tablet.
Yeah. From your standpoint, Judy, anyone on your organization that actually does anything like that, or are you still more desktop heavy?
Yeah, we're desktop heavy, and we're also super conservative. We would never do that. Just telling you that. Nobody would touch that at Swagelok. I mean, we are just super conservative when it comes to our data and how we're processing and where we're processing, and no, nobody would be comfortable with that. I'm just being honest with you on that one.
Right.
Okay. Next question, and Judy, I'm not sure that you're going to want to answer this or not, but the question is, can I ask who the implementation partner was at Swagelok?
What I'm going to tell you is the current partner that we have right now, because that partner is incredible. So we have Rising right now, and they are just phenomenal people, and they do a really great job. When the cloud is, because I want you to think about payroll. We get those updates near the end of the year. The IRS is changing the rules. We get a couple packages near the end of the year, and our consultant works with us line by line and triggers what they believe to be important, but they also get our buy-in, and we work through that list and make sure that all those updates that are hitting the cloud, some of them are just like pushed out and you have them, and other ones you decide if you want to put them in. So if you got an update for the state of Oregon and you don't have anybody in Oregon, you don't put that one in because you don't need that. But so I will tell you that Rising does a spectacular job for us. I will also give you a plug for SpinFX, because we also use those reports a lot, especially when we're dealing with our finance people. So when I talk about partnerships, those are the partnerships that we hang our hat on because it makes us extremely successful. And I run a very small department. There's only 3 of us, and we've got about over 5,000 people. So we need to make sure that we're running a tight ship, and we do have a lot of reliance on Rising, and as well as our SpinFX reports and our partner with SpinFX. So
Great.
yeah, I'm not going to mention that implementation part.
You don't have to. I don't want to put you on the
Thank you.
spot.
Yeah, it was a rough living.
Wow. Yeah, that's fine.
Judy, I have a question for you. Do you find support pack to be easier or more difficult compared to
I like
on-prem?
I like the support pack. Yep.
Yeah.
I find
Yeah,
it
it seems
easier.
to be, you have more control over it. You don't have to work with the
More
other modules
standardized,
as much.
other
right?
modules.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Mhm.
And keep in mind, you've got some hooks in here. You've got BSI coming in with all the tax piece. You'll have to think about a benefit package to come in. We recently changed our benefit package to Business Solver, and we just completed our last payroll, our first payroll rather, with Solver this Friday. So smooth, very smooth implementation. So there's different things coming into your payroll that, and we also use Tax Reporter, which is also built in there. So we do all our own tax reports out of the system, and any changes the IRS is making, we load that in to our packs, and anybody out there knows 941's changed a couple times last year. So we had to catch up on the form and make sure we were using the correct form in our system. And it's easy to put the note in and make sure that you've got the most current data in your system. So just kind of giving you some background on, things to consider while you're doing this, and it's a lot easier to just load in a note or load in a pack and have it work. So that we've been very successful in that area.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well, because you can put those support packs in, you schedule it with SuccessFactors support SAP, and they take care of it. And yeah, the control is really nice. The freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, this makes a big difference for year end, which is, we're not that far away coming up. Actually,
Right.
I just saw an email from my colleague saying, hey, we've scheduled, for US customers, we've scheduled our annual webinar with ASA talking about like year end updates and that, right? So it just got me thinking like, man, it's already September and that's coming next month. So.
Yeah, that is coming up fast. So this next question in the queue is we're gonna make Imran dance here. What is the maturity level of time evaluation in EC?
Okay, yeah. So I think what you're talking about is like our time tracking product.
Correct.
So earlier this year, we just released this product, and it's actually becoming more and more mature every release. So we've added some of the most common requirements that we've had. The biggest one was clock terminal integration, for example, and cross midnight. So those were 2 big things that were holding up a lot of on-prem customers, right? And so we added absences and attendances cross midnight, as well as time clock. It's actually one of the areas that we're innovating in quite a bit. This is another one. If you want details on this, I would suggest checking out Success Connect. So we have actually an entire track dedicated to on-prem customers that will talk about like our HXM move program to help on-premise customers move. And so that'll include some of the investments. We also have a time management specific roadmap session. Actually just Franz is recording that one. Franz Mulders, some of you might know him. And so he was recording that yesterday. And so that'll be an on-demand session. And I think it'll have all the details, but it's coming along quite nicely for time management in SuccessFactors.
I know that's been a big investment for SuccessFactors, and it continues to be, will continue to be, so that's great. I like this next question. So with the move to the cloud, what happens to the role of the functional analyst who would usually do the configuration in an on-premise environment? Who wants to start with that one?
I could probably comment on that.
Okay.
So from a configuration standpoint, if you think that person would just get eliminated, they really don't. So right now I have a business analyst that is in our IT department. And what happens is he works hand in hand with our consultant and makes sure that he understands the configuration, because that was one of the mistakes we made. our implementation partner put it in, we didn't have a solid understanding of the config. And then when things needed to change or be different, we didn't know how it worked. So right now, like I would say since 2019, our business analyst has taken a different role. He's dug deep. He understands a lot more than he did when they were implementing it. And I feel like you can't just tell your consultant or, hey, go do that configuration. You need to understand it and you need to sign off on it and make sure that it makes sense and do your standard testing in your quality system, your test box, before you push it into production, and that is something that I have been doing that for many, many years, and I refuse to put anything in production that's not been fully vetted and tested by the line of business. So that BA always works hand in hand with that consulting person. I also have a payroll analyst who has an interest in the config, and he also joins in on those conversations because he has a general interest in how things work, and he's very sharp, and I appreciate his desire to learn that as well, because I don't think you should just one track it with one person. So that's something we've done.
Absolutely. I'm going to jump to we have 2 questions left in the queue, and I think we're going to be out of our time. So this one actually, I believe, is intended for you, Judy, as well. Did you consider benefit focus for benefits admin?
All right, say that question again.
Did you consider benefit focus, the software for your benefits administration?
Yeah, that's the one we had before.
Okay. No, said.
And yeah, and I mean, I don't want to slam software because there's lots of ways to put things in, and it really wasn't meeting our needs. And we had to it felt like either we didn't put it in exactly right or it wasn't the right fit for us. It's kind of hard to say, but it was just too much manual work on our part. Like we would run a payroll recon report, and we would give that to the benefit folks, and they'd have to go in there and change a bunch of stuff. And that's not how I want to run payroll. I don't really want any manual changes in the middle of the game. We still give them it at, with our new business solver benefit package, but they didn't make any changes. It was like 5 minutes. They had it 5 minutes. Okay, Fabrizi, get rolling on payroll. Okay, we got it. So from that perspective, we were pretty happy with the solver. We had benefit focus since 2018 and finally moved over into this other package because I feel like it met our business needs a little bit stronger.
Okay, I'm going to jump into the last question, and I'm kind of be a toss-up. Is how well does workforce software integrate with ECP? It's kind of a long, broad question, but we can do a shorter answer to it. So who wants to jump in?
I'll answer this one to start. It actually works pretty well. One piece of advice here I would give is that you want to bring in each record coming from Workforce has a unique identifier. Bring that into the external document number on Infotech 2010. It will help you reconcile. Otherwise, it works pretty well. Not too much to say about it, really.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So we've reached the bottom of the question queue, so I'm going to wrap things up. If you have any additional questions for our panelists, or if you have questions about some of the SpinFX IT solutions that have been mentioned here, please reach out to me directly. You can email me at awhalen@spinfxit.com, or you can find me on Twitter, ajwhalen1. So on behalf of SpinFX IT and our 3 awesome panelists, I do want to thank you so much for attending this session, and I hope you will join another one of our webinars in the future. So thanks, Judy, Imran, Mike, and thanks to everyone for coming.
Thanks for having us. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks all. Enjoyed it. Thank you.